Welcome back to another episode of Serial Killer Monthly. This was my pick. Last month we did a really fucked up one. Who was it? We did it so long ago.
I hear a dial-up tone. What did we do?
I can see his face in my head. Did it start with a D?
Baumeister. I don't know. We've done too many.
The heat has turned my brain to mush.
The soup has turned us into soup.
So the last one we did was Dennis Nelson. He was really jacked up in the head. This guy is also jacked up in the head. I'm gonna say right now that this video is kind of, the topics are gonna be all over the place. I tried my best. I'm so sorry if it's confusing. I'm confused.
You're confused. I'm fucking confused, bro.
Herb Baumeister. Am I saying that right?
That's what I would say.
Baumeister. You might want to look it up because we say it every other sentence.
Give it to me straight, Larry.
German. Baumeister. English. Baumeister.
Okay. Baumeister. No, I'm just kidding. Baumeister. That's how we're gonna say it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I can't help you.
If you don't like it, you can leave. There's the door.
This man, Herb Baumeister, he was born in Indianapolis's Butler Tarkington neighborhood on April 7th, 1947. And he was the oldest of 4 children. So he's got 3 siblings. His father was Dr. Herbert Eugene Baumeister, and he was a doctor. Dr. Herbert. He was an anesthesiologist. His mother was Elizabeth Baumeister Schmidt. That was her maiden name. Because of his dad's successful career, they were able to move, and they moved to Washington Township. And all through his childhood, it was said to be normal, that he had a relatively normal childhood, normal experiences that every other child would have. But by the time he hit like puberty, adolescence, stuff like that, he was starting to show signs of an anti-social behavior. And then in high school, he went to North Central High School. Friends would talk about his urophilia and how he would ponder what it would be like to taste human urine. Now hear me out, drinking human pee is not unheard of. Human pee is not unheard of. Like Naked and Afraid, I watch people do it all the time. They gotta like irrigate it and like put it through dirt and stuff. I don't know.
They gotta irrigate it.
I don't know what they do, osmosis or something. Reverse osmosis. He would urinate on teachers' desks, and then he started playing with dead animals.
As they do.
But I ain't never heard of people pissing on desks.
Kids will be kids, I guess.
Teachers had to contact his parents for help after he placed a dead crow on a teacher's desk and urinated on the same teacher's desk. I think he really just had it out for one teacher at this point. He would routinely disrupt class with his emotional outbursts. While he was a teenager, his dad was like, something ain't right, so he made him undergo some mental examinations to see what the fuck.
As you should. I don't think it helped, but...
No. He was then diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and antisocial personality disorder, but it's unclear whether he got further treatment for those disorders or if he was just out raw dogging mental illness. And then after that, he went back to the North Central High School and he exhibited normal social behavior for the next couple years. His classmates, the people that he was around, they were like, we've already seen you act so out of pocket. We don't want to be your friend. Like, he was basically shunned into loneliness.
Get the fuck away from me, Herb!
In 1965, he ended up going to Indiana University, but he dropped out after only 1 semester. And his dad was like, come on, like, please, please, please go to college. So he ended up going back and left after 1 semester again. So he got 2 semesters under his belt. He just kept leaving. He got a job at the Indianapolis Star working as a copy boy. And at his work, his outbursts and very unpredictability continued in the workplace. While he was at IU, he met Juliana Sater. She was a high school journalism teacher and she was also a part-time student at the college. In November of 1971, they married and settled down in the Steinmeier neighborhood in northeast Indianapolis. They had 3 children together. 6 months after they got married, his father had him committed to the mental hospital for 2 months. Juliana said he was struggling with severe depression and needed help, so together they were like, we're trying to help you, motherfucker. After getting out of the mental hospital, he enrolled at Butler University, and once again, he only stayed for 1 semester. So he's got 3 semesters under his belt at this point.
He's almost there.
Neighbors remembered him to be eccentric, overly accommodating, and hot-tempered. He collected coverless magazines that grocery stores had discarded to distribute to the neighbors. He camped out in front of box offices to purchase concert tickets for himself and his younger neighbors. He crashed out at neighborhood contractors and members of the HOA when he was told he couldn't decorate a newly constructed neighborhood sign entrance with gaudy flower pots.
You know what? I can't stand HOA either, so.
Valid crash out. Valid crash out. In 1974, he began working at the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles. This is where he openly showed his untraditional ideas about gender roles by sending his colleagues a Christmas card of himself and another man dressed in drag. Go off, RuPaul!
Well, you know, worse things have happened.
You know, if I got a Christmas card of 2 guys in drag, slay queens. This behavior led to him becoming domineering and aggressive.
As one does, I guess.
He worked his way up to program director, but got fired in 1985 after he urinated on a letter to Governor Robert D. Orr and was held responsible for urine found months earlier on his manager's desk. Why are you still pissing on people's desks? Why are you pissing on a letter to the governor?
You know, it's not unheard of.
What'd you do at work today? I pissed on a letter for the governor.
Was it Rob Blagojevich? What was it?
Rod Blagojevich.
I always say Rob.
You said Pritzker.
I was gonna say that one because you always heard shit about him nonstop when he was governor.
Rob,
Go
is it
blow a bitch or something? I don't know.
Rod blow a bitch?
What the fuck is his name?
Blagojevich? Blagojevich, I think.
What a strange name.
Like, why would you need, are you looking it up? Why would you need that kind of name to be a governor?
I don't even know how to spell Blagojevich.
Oh, my tear ducts.
Why is it spelled like that?
Rod Blagojevich.
Rod Blagojevich.
Do it slow.
Rod Blagojevich. Rod Blagojevich. Rod Blagojevich.
Why does he kind of look like the dad from Young Sheldon with long hair? While he wasn't at work, he would spend his free time going to gay bars in Indianapolis. In September of 1985, he was arrested for a hit and run while he was intoxicated. In March of 1986, he was arrested for conspiracy to commit theft. You couldn't even commit the theft before you got arrested. You were still at the conspiracy part, bro.
That's kind of a funny charge. But, oh, you stole something? No, but I was conspiring about it.
I'm thinking on it.
I had a thought.
Both of these charges ended up being dropped. He found a job at a thrift shop and realized he had a passion for retail work.
Not the thrift store.
In 1988, he borrowed $4,000 from his mom and founded Save a Lot thrift store chain. I know we all heard of that.
What in the world?
Did you know that?
No.
Me either. I was shook when I saw that. In 1991, due to his successful business, he moved his family to an 18-acre ranch in Westfield, which he called Fox Hollow Farms, that was built in 1978. Then he opened his second Save-A-Lot. The first one was doing so good, he was like, I'm gonna open up a second one. But alas, the second one did not fare as well as the first. I'm making this sound so overly dramatic.
Alas, the second one could not fare.
By the summer of 1993, his employees noticed his long periods of absence during the day. There was financial strain and lawsuits against the company for non-payment of services.
Between 1992 and 1994, reports of numerous gay men going missing came up in the Midwest. In November of 1994, Baumeister's 13-year-old son found a human skull on the Fox Hollow Farms property.
Great.
He claimed the skull belonged to a collection of skeletons his grandfather,
Like his son's grandfather.
his grandfather had for dissecting.
Because his grandfather was the doctor, the anesthesiologist.
Investigators from Marion County Sheriff's Department and the Indianapolis Police Department received a tip about a missing persons case from 1992. The witness reported seeing a man named Brian Smart leave an Indianapolis gay bar with Roger Goodlet, who had disappeared after that in 1992. They weren't able to find Brian, so the case went cold. In 1995, the witness once again saw Brian at a gay bar. He followed and wrote down the license plate number of the car. The car was later identified as being registered to Herb Baumeister.
So it looks like Lil Herb was going under a fake name.
God damn it, Herbert.
Fucking Brian Smart. I mean, at least his alias wasn't as bad as Harry Gordon.
What a terrible fucking name.
E.P. McGovern.
I'm A.P. McGovern. If you ever need to find me, if I go undercover, I'm gonna be E.P. McGovern. So if you need to find me,
If you ever go into like witness protection.
I'm gonna my name.
On January 4th, 1996, Juliana filed for divorce. Are we surprised? Absolutely not. This was several months after the police had questioned her about a possible link between her husband and the disappearance of several men. And she did inform the investigators that a skull was found on the property by her son. On June 24th, 1996, she consented to a search of the entire property, all Fox Hollow Farms. And she did this when Baumeister was out of town, so he had no clue about it. During their search, police and forensic investigators found over 10,000 charred and decomposed bones and bone fragments, along with handcuff remnants and shotgun shells. The forensic labs at the University of Indianapolis tested and cataloged all of this evidence. And now Carly is going to read an overview of like the victims.
By September 12th, the forensic team confidently identified the remains of 4 individuals. Richard Douglas Hamilton. He was 20 years old and went missing on July 31st, 1993. Manuel Resendez, 34 years old, last seen at a gay bar in downtown Indianapolis on August 6, 1993. In January of 2024, the Hamilton County coroner announced the identification of remains recovered belonged to Resendez.
So 1993 he went missing.
That's 31 years ago.
And he wasn't identified until last year.
That's 30 years.
That's insane.
Stephen Sperlin Hale, 28 years old, went missing on April 1st, 1994. Roger Allen Goodlet, 33 years old, went missing July 22nd, 1994. Each victim was a gay man. Their disappearances all coincided with periods of time between 1993 and 1994, when Baumeister's wife and children were out of town. Authorities have publicly and posthumously linked the unsolved disappearance of 34-year-old Jerry Williams Comer to Baumeister. He was last seen in Indianapolis on August 8, 1995. After he disappeared, his vehicle was found at Castleton Square Mall. Williams Comer fit the profile of Baumeister's victims, even though his remains were never recovered from Fox Hollow Farm.
On June 30th, 1996, Baumeister found out that the police issued a warrant for his arrest. So what does he do? He fled to Ontario, Canada. On July 3rd, he committed suicide in Pinery Provincial Park in Grand Bend, Ontario by shooting himself in the head with a .357 Magnum handgun. He wrote a 3-page suicide note, and in that note, he mentioned remorse over the breakup of his marriage and the financial issues with his business. He never once mentioned any of the bodies, persons found on the property, any of the remains, anything like that, and he never mentioned any of the missing persons cases either. His final meal was a peanut butter sandwich.
Investigators pieced together Baumeister's crimes for the next 2 years. Forensic investigators found 11 DNA profiles from the remains and 4 more victims were identified. John Lee, he went by Johnny, Bayer, 20 years old, went missing May 28th of 1993. Jeffrey Jeff Allen Jones, 31 years old, went missing July 6, 1993. Alan Wayne Brossard, 28 years old, went missing June 6, 1994. Michael Frederick Mike Kiern, 45 years old, last seen March 31st, 1995. Daniel Thomas Halloran, born in 1972, date of death unknown, identified in 2025 by forensic genetic genealogy. That sounds fancy.
Yeah, it's also insane how they have that kind of technology now to where they can identify people who literally died.
Literally died.
30 years ago. Like, that's insane.
Baumeister targeted white men between the ages of 14. Yuck. Targeting anybody was yuck, but 14. And 46 with ties to the LGBTQ plus community. He would choose his victim at a gay bar and bring him to his property at Fox Hollow Farms, and he would strangle and dispose of the body. Why does this always seem like it's a very popular way that serial killers do things, and it's very odd to me.
Now I'm gonna go into some details about the I-70 Strangler, because some believe that Baumeister is the I-70 Strangler. In 1998, they decided that there was a possible connection, so his victim count then increased. Investigators linked him to the I-70 Strangler murders from the 1980s. The I-70 Strangler is a nickname of an unidentified American serial killer who killed at least 11 young boys and adult men in Indiana and Ohio between June 1980 and October 1991. Their bodies would be dumped by Interstate 70, which is why the nickname I-70 Strangler. The killer would meet his victims in popular gay bars and other similar places within a 4-block radius in Indianapolis, which is what Baumeister did. So
how could it not be him?
Yeah. And especially like it's around the same time period. The victims were later found naked or partially clothed, often being dumped in rivers, streams, and ditches in the rural countryside. Each victim had been strangled to death. What did we see with the other victims? Strangled. This isn't an officially solved case, but Baumeister was named as a prime suspect in April of 1999. Bodies related to the Strangler case stopped being found in 1991, which is when Baumeister purchased Fox Hollow Farms.
The wheels are turning.
So then the following is the victims of the I-70 Strangler, which could be Baumeister, might not be. We don't know, but I just wanted to add it in so you have the information.
On June 16, 1980, the body of a 15-year-old male prostitute, Michael Sean Petrie, was found naked in Hamilton County, Indiana. He was reported missing on June 7th, but was seen 3 days later in different parts of the city, riding in a stranger's car. The cause of death was listed as strangulation with no evidence of drugs or alcohol found in his blood.
On July 21st, 1982, 22-year-old Maurice Allen Taylor's topless corpse was found in Hamilton County's Weasel Creek. The cause of death wasn't officially established, but looked to be from being strangled. Taylor was a vagrant who lived in the boiler room of an Indianapolis apartment complex and offered sexual services around gay bars.
On October 3rd, 1982, 14-year-old Delvoyd Lee Baker was found semi-nude near a river in Hamilton County. Witnesses stated that Baker was last seen on the evening of October 2nd in downtown Indianapolis climbing into a blue van driven by a young white man with a bushy mustache. Yuck. I can't do the firefighter mustache. Baker's parents said he was riding his bike to the city the night of his disappearance. He called home at 10:30 to let them know he was going to be late because he was going to the movies. It was later found out that Baker had been cruising Indianapolis gay bars for the last 3 months and was a victim of child sexual abuse.
On May 28, 1983, 22-year-old Michael Andrew Riley disappeared after visiting the Vogue Theater, that is an Indianapolis nightclub. He was last seen with an unidentified man whom he later left with. In February of 1998, an Indianapolis resident contacted police and claimed that Baumeister was the man who was last seen with Riley. His nude body was later found on June 5th in a ditch in Hancock County, southeast of Greenfield. The autopsy showed he had been strangled, most likely with a towel.
On May 7, 1985, 17-year-old Eric Allen Roediger went missing. A few days later, his shirtless body was found near a stream in rural Brevely County, Ohio, east of Lewisburg. His parents said he was planning to attend interviews for a summer job on the day of his disappearance, but didn't go to any of them. Friends and relatives denied he was gay, but later it showed that he had many acquaintances who were drug addicts or traffickers. What does that have to do with him being gay? In Pride Month? Friends and relatives denied he was gay, but later it showed that he had many acquaintances who were drug addicts and traffickers. Witnesses say they saw Roediger at a bus stop early in the morning on March 7th, and he accepted a ride from a passing car. When he was found, he had a burn mark on his left shoulder and had been strangled with a rope.
On August 15th, 1986, the body of 29-year-old Michael Allen Glenn was found in a ditch near Eaton, Ohio. He lived in a trailer park on the outskirts of Indianapolis and worked as a handyman. The exact date of his disappearance is unknown. Strangulation marks that were possibly from a rope were found on his neck. He was identified 3 years after his body was found with the help of fingerprinting.
On October 15, 1987, 21-year-old James Boyd Robbins Jr. went missing around 10 p.m. shortly after leaving his mother's home in Indianapolis while walking to the southern part of the city. On October 17th, 2 days later, his naked corpse was found in a ditch in rural Shelby County, south of Gwynville. During his murder investigation, police found 2 witnesses. One said they had seen a red Jeep Wrangler Renegade near the crime scene, and the other said the car was a Chevy Blazer.
On August 12, 1989, 26-year-old Stephen Lynn Elliott's body was found in Preble County, Ohio. He had been strangled with most likely a rope. His father told police that when his son came out as gay in 1979, he left the house and got involved in prostitution and developed an alcohol addiction.
On August 14, 1990, 32-year-old Clay Russell Boatman disappeared after leaving his apartment in Richmond, Indiana. He was going to a local gay bar. His body was found in a ditch by a group of children near Eaton, Ohio. His body showed signs of strangulation, and his family denied him being homosexual during their interview.
On September 6, 1990, 18-year-old Thomas Ray Clevenger Jr. mysteriously disappeared. His corpse was later found at an abandoned railroad track near Greenville, Ohio. He had grown up in a poor neighborhood of Indianapolis. Shortly before his death, he began partaking in prostitution near gay bars for money. His mother and his sister denied this.
On August 6, 1991, 42-year-old Otto Gary Becker's body was found in a ditch next to a gravel road in rural Henry County, Indiana. During his murder investigation, many witnesses claimed to see Becker in a car with another male driving north on Interstate 465 near Indianapolis. These witnesses were taken to the police station and shown pictures of criminals convicted of kidnapping and murder charges, but none of them matched.
In the early 2020s, the Hamilton County Coroner's Office, the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Missing Persons Unit, the Indiana State Police, and the University of Indianapolis became interested in Baumeister's case again. On December 4th, 2022, 11 cadaver dogs searched the property. In 2023, the FBI analyzed thousands of bone fragments, and in the end, it was believed to be from at least 25 individuals. More victims may be identified in the future. 10,000 remains were recovered from his property and are stored in the University of Indianapolis's Archaeology Department and are in the process of DNA testing at Indiana State Police Labs. Which is so insane that there is technology available today to try to identify those people, and they do say that if you know somebody from back then that you think may have been a victim of his, to contact the police to see. So basically they are going through like family DNAs to try to link that person to like the DNA of a family member to see if there's any matches. It's just insane what forensics can do today. But if you enjoyed this hot mess, like and comment, subscribe, if you're watching this right now, we will have a bonus blooper video out a day or so after this one, so you can watch all of the mess ups, because
We were trying.
it's 105 degrees. And next month is Carly's pick, so